Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I got a new little project. I was out in the shop this afternoon and was going through all these parts that I've got. Inventory, everything that I've got. First off, I got up to these guys here. I just really ain't in the mood for it, but that's my inventory sheet so far. I think 20 pages so far. But, you know, who wants to do that? I got something that could or could not be interesting. I don't know. But I saw it in a antique store the other day. Same place I got that little Silvertone radio that we worked on last. Anyway, here you go. It's a Magnavox. What is it? That'll be a clue. Push to talk. Missing the antenna, but this is a little handy-talkie, a little walkie-talkie, and I believe it's on CB frequencies. I liked it. I just fell in love with it. Not something that I've probably ever used, but I think it's big. Look at there, how big that thing is. It's just really nice. Magnavox. Thing is, look where it's made. Japan. Now, as you can see, just visual examining this thing, corrosion right there. I would think that's probably from the battery from way back when. Let me find my screwdriver. Whatever did I do with it? Do not know. Anyway, I'm going to take it apart. See what it looks like. What is the model number of this thing anyway? I didn't see a model number. Did y'all? Here we go. Transceiver, WT-101, crystal frequency. Transmit 27085, receiving 26.630. Power input max is 100 milliwatts. Super heterodyne 455 kilohertz. IF supply voltage 18. Wow. Well, I'll just use a couple of 9-volt batteries. There's the battery complement right there. Serial number is 0027151. Certificate of compliance with the Federal Communications Commission. And as I said, there's that corrosion right there at the bottom where the batteries were. So I'm going to set you up in the tripod, and we're going to just apply power to this, and let's see what happens. Alright, here we are, we're back. Well, I'm going to hook up the trusty dusty old power supply. I think it's at 18 volts, 16, 17, 18. I'm going to set it back 200 milliamps. That way when I do short something out, it won't blow up terribly bad. Set up for 200 mils. Let's see what happens. Looks relatively clean in there. It's a little bit corroded on where the battery, like the battery contact here is just completely gone. So I'm just going to clip that off. We're going to replace that anyway if we can get this thing to work. I have no clue what I'm going to do with this thing once I get it working. Another chef queen, I guess. First thing, this thing's been powered up in Lord knows how many years. The ON/OFF switch. Here we go. Turning it on draws no current. At least I don't think it is. Going a little bit. Let's see if it. Making a little noise. I think it'd be hearing something. Appears to be dead, Jim. What do you think? See if we can pump some signal through it. 27085, which we'll put that on AM. 027085, enter. I'm just going to put a little tone in it. And I am maxed out. Picking up anything. There's a doorknob. It's not drawing a lot of current. I don't know. Let me open it up. Okay, we've gotten into the belly of the beast. And chill over here where I can see a little better. There it is. Definitely Japan made. So let's see. I count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 electrolytics that I can see. And let's see how many transistors in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it count 8 transistors. So let's see. Since we wasn't hardly getting any noise out of the thing. Don't think the speaker's bad. Could be the push to talk switch on here, might be. I'm going to disconnect this antenna here. I'm going to have to figure out where to get an antenna. I bet eBay or somebody will have one, or somebody have one somewhere. I'm just going to have to, we'll get this working first. Wish I had the other one, a counterpart to this. That would be awesome. There we go. I haven't got the schematic out for this thing yet. Let's attempt to maybe figure this out on their own. Well, here's the volume control. So let's start at the volume control. Well, you know, do this a myriad of ways, you know, different ways here, but as you can hear, it does make noise. Well, let's see if we can get something out of the volume control as soon as I figure out where these. Oh, I just bumped it. Started getting noise. Doing something. No, I heard it. This is the front end right here, if you can still see it. It's the front end. That sounds like holy hell, doesn't it? Don't know what I did to make it work that much. Dropped one end of it, which is like a doofus. Should have had this on my carpet scrap. I bet we got some bypass caps that are bad. Yeah, whatever it is, it's right there. Let me get my glasses. That thing sounds like holy heck, don't it? Get my pointer out. Can y'all still see? I'm gonna back you up just a skosh. What do you think? I think it's this transmit receive or PTT switch. Yeah, I think that's all it is. We'll shut you off a minute and we'll get some contact cleaner put in there and see if we can straighten that up. Alright, that was quite a battle. This PTT switch here, push to talk or transmit receive switch, whatever you want to call it. I call it push to talk, and that's what they call it. But in our mobile radio world, we always call it push to talk. Anyway, this push to talk is switch is fastened to the board through a couple of screws, but the screws goes through standoffs, and one of the standoffs was missing, so it was quite a battle to get that standoff back in. Anyway, I used I had to take the screws out of the back, the only way I could get into it, and anyway, I used screen's upside down. Anyway, I used my contact cleaner to clean it and flush it out first and get it, you know, pressed the button several times and it just flooded the switch. Anyway, use this to flush it all out and do the initial cleaning. Okay. Then I went back in with the screen's upside down. It's screwed on me. There we go. Anyway, I used just a can of compressed air to clean all that out. Then once I got done with that, I used some Deoxit D5, sprayed it back in there and gave it some more exercise. So anyway, that should be fine now. Also, it looked like this is where the can you see? You see right here and right here. If you there's two screws, and that's where the switch mounts. But that looks like there's a ground here. Well, this was completing a ground here, you know, and I have a feeling that may have a little bit to do with that weirdness. Anyway, too blabbing. Let's hook it back up. Let's see what happens next. Not that one. Here we go. Yeah, that took care of it in a minute. I need to be able to vary that frequency easily. I am going over to my 606. We're going to get a little bit more. To 80% modulation right there. I'm running about a -40, which is 0.003 volts. Appears to be off frequency. It appears to be happy around 27.5. I'm at -60 dBm. At 80% modulation. I'm actually surprised it works that good. Oops, sorry I bumped you guys. Volume control seems to be okay, which is unusual. It's probably been sprayed with Lord knows what. Probably 3M motor oil or something in there. People do. Quite loud. wonder what it, I wonder if it even transmits. Clean up a little bit. Let's see. Don't appear to be transmitting. If it is, it's not picking up. I'm picking up local oscillator from more than I'm picking up anything else. Showing about 20, well, that ain't right. I'm trying to find the oscillator in this thing, y'all, right there. Showing about 27.197. It's just I really don't think it's transmitting. Missing a crystal. Missing a crystal, if you can see it right here. Didn't think it needed that. I think it might be yes, what's up. I think it's missing. Guess it's missing crystal. Yep, 27085. What this one says. See if I put it over here and transmit. See if it makes any difference. I don't know if it'll transmit with that crystal or not. Let's find out. Alright. Yep, 27085. Well, it is on frequency. That's a good sign. Let's go back over here to the antenna. 27085. We're going to do enter. We're going to do sensitive monitor. See what happens here. What's up with that? Making some kind of modulation. Widen you out there. Test, 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 test. Test, test, test. Whoa. There we go. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, there you go. Appears to be working. I haven't changed nothing on it. I just cleaned the push to talk switch. Hang on, I'm trying to. All right, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let you see the mod monitor if I can find it. Here's some audio test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's good, clean, recovered audio. Test 1, 2. Oh Lord, look at me. Get this camera in shape here. I don't know. I'm surprised it even works, to be honest with you. According to my amp meter over here, it doesn't draw. Hang on a second. Doesn't draw any current. What I'm going to do with this thing, it needs a crystal. Of course, those are hard to find. 2708 phi. I'm not sure what channel that's on. I know 185 is channel 19, 27185. That's 100 kilohertz low. Is that like channel 1 or channel 2 CB frequencies? Let's find out. CB channel frequencies. Let's go to wearecb.com. Yeah. I say 27085, wasn't it? 27085 is CB channel 11. So CB channel 11. What do you think? What should I do with it from here? Basically functions once I clean the push to talk switch and put it back together right. It appears to be off frequency on the receiver, I think, but the crystal seems to be good. It's 27085 right on the button. So how do you make it use one crystal to do both? Let me show you something. Yeah, that second crystal's missing. Or if there's a way to make that push to talk switch I don't know. I was expecting more. I don't know where to go with this. Like, it's missing a crystal, missing the antenna. I don't have any, I don't have another one like this. I don't know. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to probably pull a couple of caps off and do some spot checks, but some of these are electrolytics, but I'll see at least 2 possible oil fields. I don't know if they've ever get problems with this Japanese stuff. So let me look at it, figure out what I want to do with it, and I'll bring you back with the summation. Alright, see you in a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. Went in, the speaker was loose inside the cabinet, apparently been dropped, and it just knocked it all. The clips that hold it in had made them spring outward loose. It's now tight in there and no rattle. Next thing that I did is I started spot checking capacitors, and this is the first one. that I pulled right here, and it came out right there. Anyway, it's a small 30 microfarad capacitor at 15 volts. Well, it checked very bad. It checked 225 ohms. Leakage resistance. 225 ohms. This capacitor thinks it's a resistor now. So I think that's where we stand. I'm going to think about how to convert, use that common crystal so I could receive and transmit on the same frequency. Don't think I'm be able to find a crystal for this. So at these frequencies, I got to look at the circuit a little bit, come up with a way. I might come up and make a little PC board perhaps, using some SMDs or something like that, that I can make a small switching circuit. When you push the PTT, that it will, you know, switch it from receive to transmit. Or I gotta look at the schematic, see if I can bypass something and use that switch directly. I think at this low signal levels this thing uses, I might be able to get away with that too. I don't know. Anyway, I need to find a bunch of capacitors, but I'm going to see if I can find the manual first. Be nice to have that. But I'm going to find a bunch of capacitors and go ahead and replace all these capacitors in here, and I'm hoping I can find some in my old stock, because I really don't want to spend no money on this thing. But it does work. I need to change the caps, as I said, figure out how to make that crystal work, and I'll recheck it sensitivity wise after I get all that done, and probably might need an alignment, but if everything is right in this thing, this shouldn't need an alignment, but we'll see. Alright, well, don't know if this is all of this part or not, but matter of fact, I may just hang on to this video, and as I do it, I'll just make one video out of it, and I'll just try to make it short, because this thing, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with it when I get it fixed. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all in a little bit. Bye. Alright, welcome back. A little bit of an ordeal changing all those caps. Fairly common values, and I had to dig and dig and dig and dig to find them. Then when I get them all changed, turn it back on, and there's a short. I put one in backwards. Anyway, power it up. Sounds a little different. See if it made a difference in receive. supply sound like? Look, throw man. Like it's right on. Oh my, shop light's horrible. One day I'm gonna fix it. I think my IF is on. I believe I'm accurate. Fly through there. I just want to show you. Let me turn that down. Sorry, I was contemplating. Anyway, this is where's it at? Right there where that crosshatch is where, I mean that line, that's where it sounded like it peaked as I rolled it back and forth. Right here on the vernier. But look right there. So the IF on this little radio is peaked. Oh. Get a little bit better, we get the proper tool here. So normal frequency, as far as my IF is concerned. So we're going to hook minus right there. Alright, we're going to go back up to 27,185. Let's see where we're at exactly, since I apparently don't know how to read a meter. So the receive side is off. That's why it's doing what it's doing. And where basically I just injected 455 hertz into this thing. I don't know. Hang on a minute. Alright, sorry for the interruptions, guys. I have the signal generator set 271085. I'm having it injected into the front end. Of the receiver. I've identified this coil here as the tuning coil for the receive channel. Now all I got to do is see if I can make it adjust as soon as I find the right tool. That might not be it. I thought that was the oscillator coil. George, we didn't do an alignment. We will now. I really did. I thought that was the well, back to the drawing board. Hey guys, it's the second day and a lot has changed on this thing since yesterday. Biggest thing is I've had time to sleep on it. Okay. The second thing is before I left the shop last night, I got the actual Howard WSAM schematic on this thing. So, and I thought, oh yeah, I know I made some errors in what I was doing, and I'll show you. But I was tuning this coil. This coil, I was thinking that this was the frequency adjustment for one of the crystals, the other frequency adjustment for the other crystals. I mean, a lot of other radios that I work on are kind of the same way. And then this right here, I either thought these two were the crystal frequencies or these two are the crystal frequencies. That's how I was going in my mindset. However, these made no adjustments at all. This one did. And then I was completely wrong, because when I got the schematic, downloaded the schematic and got to looking, let's see, this coil here is L7, this coil here is L6, and this one is L1, and this coil right here is L8. Well, alright, well here's L7 right here, and this is L6, if you remember, and L1. Well, let's go look. Let's see. Gotta find it. L7, which is this one right here in the corner, the first one that I adjusted. L7 is this one. Transmit output, transmit final amplifier. This is tuning the output stage. L7. So yeah, that ain't going to change no frequencies. And then L6 is this guy right here, Oscillator Tuning. This basically is your output coils right here. You tune both of these for maximum output. Not special. Alright, so the only one that made a difference was L1. Well, here's L1. This is on the receive string right here. This basically this is just the input of your mixer amplifier right here. And if you'll note, this little line right here comes down, taps off of that right there. This is where your oscillator is. I thought about it at about 1 a.m. last night that this has to have separate crystals, You can't just use a common crystal like I was jabbering about yesterday. Reason is because the transmit portion of this crystal is a direct frequency. Nothing changes. In other words, if the crystal is marked 27.085, that's what this thing is going to generate, because this oscillator right here is going to oscillate on 27.085 and go straight through the transmit final lamp out to the antenna. However, because this is a receiver and it has a mixer which gives you an output of 455 kilohertz, this receive frequency crystal has to be different. And the crystal that's in the receiver right now is wrong. That crystal belongs in the transmit side. It's actually missing the receive crystal. Oh boy. So I did a little math on it, and the back cover says the receive crystal's frequency. This is not the out transmit frequency. This is not the frequency that they list on this cover here, right there. It's not what actually this thing receives and transmits on as far as receiver. The transmit frequency is 27085. So that's why the crystal that's marked in there, that's in the radio now, is 27085. It is missing the receiver. The receiver says 26630. So that's the crystal that it needs to be, 26630. You take that 26630 and you add 455 kilohertz to it, gives you 27085. So as it is now, this 27085, if I add 455 to it, will give me the actual receive frequency, which is 27540. So I have that dial up on the radio, and it works just fine. So now that I know where everything is, let's peek it. So we got that done. Now I have to go back in and move the crystal back over to the transmit side and set this thing up to where I can monitor it somehow or another. So of course this thing is supposed to be tuned into the antenna, which I do not have at this time, so I'm just going to use a couple of clip leads. So I'll bring you back. Okay, so what I've done basically, since I don't have an antenna for this, the easiest thing that I can do to tune this is I've just taken the antenna lead right here, connected it to my scope, channel 1. It's 100 milliwatts, okay? So I'm not in no danger of burning up the scope. So if I press the push to talk switch, you see I get an indication right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set you up on the tripod, and I'm going to turn that around. Let's find the scope. Let's find the scope. Zoom in some. And I'm just going to tune those two coils for maximum smoke, or maximum indication on the oscilloscope. You don't need to watch me do that, I don't think. Then we go through a peak. That one's done. Go through a peak. That's about it. Let me zoom you back out. So there you go. I mean, it's tuned up. It's about as good as it's going to get. So kind of anticlimactic Some of this video is going to get heavily edited because of my goof ups yesterday. Oh well, it's been a long time since I worked on something of this nature. So, as it stands now, even if I had an antenna for it, without that crystal, it's really unusable. I don't even know if I could find a crystal for this thing. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing, but it was a fun exercise. Not sure what I'm going to do with it, but we know it needs a crystal. We know it needs a crystal on 26.630 megahertz, and I think that's a fundamental frequency crystal, if I remember right. I've recapped it. It seems to work okay, and I hadn't checked the mod. I might need to do that real quick since I changed all those capacitors. The receiver is about as sensitive as it's going to get. Of course, if I could find a source of crystals, I might change it to 27185, which is channel 19. And see, the other challenge to this project is finding an antenna, a telescoping antenna. So I'll have to look around for that. So at this time, I'm just going to say that's it for this radio. It's about as simple as you can get. One crystal is direct frequency. The second crystal is it's got an offset of 455 kilohertz to give the so the receiver will pick up properly on 27085, channel 11. So that's about as far as I want to go with this right now. I'm going to clean it all up, put it back in this box, and see if I could find some parts for it. So anyway, that's my little video. I know it wasn't much, but it was fun. So I will let you go, and if I have any updates, I'll post it in a future video. Alright, y'all take care. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll have something a little bit better to dig into next time. Alright, bye-bye. Okay, kiddies. Go over some points here. On the schematic. Basically, here's the circuit for the transceiver, or as it's called. This is your telescoping antenna right here. Your input matching. This is an inductor right here, which makes this antenna actually longer because it's shorter than the actual resonant frequency, which would be a quarter wave at CB frequencies, 27 megahertz, would be around 120 inches, somewhere thereabouts. So that, because the antenna is shorter, makes it capacitive. So this coil right here, this inductor, is added to make up for the key capacitance. So X of C equals X of L type thing. But anyway, your signal comes in here when it's receiving. It comes through your antenna, comes through this coil, goes through the TR switch, goes into L1, which is then applied to the base of X1, which is the mixer. The output of X1 is a 455 kilohertz signal. That's called your IF frequency. This then coupled through this IF transformer to the first IF amp. X3 goes through a 455 kilohertz filter again, goes into the second IF amp. Okay, from the second IF amp goes into the third transformer, which will be L4, 455. There you'll see this little diode right here. That is your detector. That detector takes and separates the audio frequency from the RF frequency. Then it is filtered through this 0.02 cap right here. Applied to the volume control, goes out to the driver speech amp, to the output modulator, to your speaker. Now going back over here to the mixer, how do you get 455 out of 27 megahertz? Well, you use a mixer, an RF mixer, which the signal for the mixer is derived from this oscillator stage, which I talked about a few minutes ago. So the receive crystal, when it's in standby, the receive crystal's sitting there doing this thing. It's oscillating at the receive crystal frequency. So, and then the oscillator signal is taken off right here on this coil. It's applied to the emitter of the X1 receive mixer. Now what they use here is low side injection, and let me show you what that is. Here is a little diagram, kind of cheap and dirty, but here is your RFN at 27 megahertz. Here's your antenna, the depiction. Here is the symbol for a mixer, and here's your IF frequency out, 455 kilohertz. And then right here, this is your local oscillator right here, which generates the injection frequency. So low side means that this frequency here that the local oscillator generates is lower than your RF input frequency. And high side injection would mean this frequency is actually higher than this. But low side is usually used on most lower frequency items, you know, like this stuff. And I think once it gets up in the UHF or something like that, the frequencies actually shift upward. And in this case here, if we have 27 megahertz coming in, and we need 455 kilohertz IF frequency, then our local oscillator frequency would be 26.545 megahertz. So this crystal would have to be 26.545. Now, the formula for the local oscillator frequency is that local oscillator equals RFN minus 0.455. If you do that, that tells you what this frequency. In other words, you know you got 455 here, and you know you've got 27 megahertz, or you want to do with 27.185. Well, what frequency do I order the crystal, if you could ever find one? You use this formula here, and it will tell you what frequency this is. Now, if you have an IF, which you know is 455 kilohertz, and you have the oscillator frequency like we do here, you know what your local oscillator is, you can take that and take your IF 0.455 plus the local oscillator frequency, and it will give you the RFN frequency. And that's what I had to do earlier when I was trying to figure out what exactly was up with this thing. Once I figured, it dawned on me. So I just did that, the 27085 plus 455 kilohertz gave me 27.54 megahertz. And remember last night when we were using my HP generator that it was what it was coming up to, 27.5. So there you go. There's that in a little nutshell. Didn't mean for this to drag on like it did. I don't know if I can edit all this, but I have a new feature. Of this probe channel. I might do this ever so often, but we're going to call it tool time. And here's a really neat set of tools that I bought the other day at Home Depot, I believe it was. Anyway, it's made by Klein Tools, and it's a little screwdriver nut driver set. And see if I'm smart enough to open it. I'm not smart enough to open it. Hang on, I need two hands. This thing is slicker than Alice Knot. Anyway, there we go. A little small swivel handle. There's your swivel base. Hex socket right there. This number of this thing is 32717. This thing was about 25 bucks. But if you look carefully, you've got a security tips right here, number 6 and number 4. An SO type kind of a weirdie. Then you got different I don't know the names of some of these. Here's a little little bitty one right there, boy. different kind of security bits right here, and then you got flat heads, and then you've got security torques, and then you've got some little small Allens and the little small Phillips heads. So it's a pretty handy little thing. I used it a little bit while ago to put this radio back together, but made by Klein Tools again. Again, I got it at Home Depot, and the number is 32717, and it cost me around 25 bucks. Comes in a neat little case with a really nice looking latch on it. Thumbs up for me. Anyway, it's going to be a weird video for me to put together. It didn't turn out like I wanted, but it was interesting to learn how these things work, and they're very simple. As a matter of fact, I was just overdoing it in my head, but now I know. I don't know what I want to do with this thing, but yeah, if anybody can gain anything out of this, that's fine. Please hit the like button and subscribe. That would do me a lot of good and make my old heart happy. So anyway, thank you guys. I'm going to shut it down here because I got to run and do some other stuff. But thank y'all for watching. I really do appreciate y'all watching, and hopefully we'll have something a little more interesting next time. And if I ever get this thing fixed and working, I'll post it if I'm still making videos. Y'all have a good day. Bye bye.